There are some clinicals that are often given from the chapter of osteology in general anatomy. They are often asked in the examination, final professional examinations by the University of Health Sciences. So they are often asked as part of SAQs. For example, they will ask you the classification of the bone based on the development, and then they will ask you a clinical, what is osteomyelitis? So such clinicals and clinical correlates, they must be done on compulsory basis when preparing for the final professional examination, even it's for general anatomy. So today we shall be covering, inshallah ta'ala, some clinicals related with the chapter of osteology from the general anatomy. So here are some clinicals. First of all, we have fracture types and hematoma formation. This hematoma formation is an SAQ. Let's start with the fracture. What is fracture? Fracture means a break in the continuity of epithelium. A break in the continuity of epithelium. So एक continuous layer होती है epithelium की, उसके अंदर जब उसकी उस continuity में कोई break आ जाता है, उस break को हम label करते हैं as fracture. So bone की outer covering में जब कोई break आता है, that break in the bony continuity, outer covering of the bone's continuity is referred to as fracture. अब ये fracture मुख्तलिफ तरह के होते हैं. Look at the direction of the fracture line. They can be oblique, they can be comminuted, they can be spiral, and they can be compound. In oblique fracture, the name is indicating the line of direction is oblique. The line of the direction of the fracture in the bone is oblique. Comminuted में क्या होता है? The segments, the fractured segments of the bone, they do not get displaced. Rather, they stay in the same position, in their same position, but there is fracture, the continuity in the outer covering of the bone is lost. Comminuted में क्या होता है कि जो fracture हो जाता है, continuity में break आ जाता है bone की, लेकिन इसमें होता क्या है कि displacement of fractured segments नहीं होती. मतलब जो segments टूटते हैं, break away होते हैं, वो इधर उधर फैलते नहीं हैं. They stay in their position. Spiral fracture में again look at the direction of the fracture line. It is spiral. ठीक है? Compound में क्या होता है? Compound में आमतौर पे there is a break in the continuity of epithelium or outer covering of the bone associated with displacement of the fractured segments. इसमें क्या होता है कि इसमें ना सिर्फ ब्रेक आता है बोन की कवरिंग में, बल्कि जो फ्रैक्चर्ड सेगमेंट्स होते हैं वो अपनी जगहों से डिस्प्लेस भी हो जाते हैं, अपनी जगहों से हिल भी जाते हैं. इस जो है और समटाइम्स इसके साथ बाहर स्किन पे वुंड भी नजर आता है. तो ओपन जो फ्रैक्चर्स होते हैं जिनको कहते हैं, जिनमें आपको बाहर सरफेस ऑफ द बॉडी पे कोई ना कोई जख्म भी नजर आ रहा होता है. Such fractures are labeled as compound fractures. So these were the common types of fractures. You will study all these types of fracture in much more detail in the surgery, subject of surgery. Then we have the healing phenomenon after the fracture. इसको जो है इसके अंदर एक प्रोसेस होता है, जो हीलिंग प्रोसेस होता है बोन के अंदर. जब फ्रैक्चर होता है या चोट लगती है बोन पे, तो उसके हीलिंग प्रोसेस होता है, उसके डिफरेंट स्टेप्स होते हैं कि किस तरह बोन में आफ्टर द ट्रॉमा हीलिंग होती है. उसमें हीमाटोमा फॉर्मेशन होती है, दूसरा स्टेप फाइब्रोकार्टिलेजिनस कैलस फॉर्मेशन होती है, तीसरा स्टेप बोनी कैलस फॉर्मेशन होती है, और चौथा स्टेप होता है फाइनल कंप्लीट बोन रीमॉडलिंग. So we have hematoma formation as the first step in the healing of the fractured bone. So what happens in this step? What is hematoma? Hematoma means collection of blood. Collection of blood. So at the site of the injury, blood accumulates, which is called hematoma. Then second step involves fibrocartilaginous callus formation. So within this hematoma, certain anatomical and healing or reparative changes start to take place in order to complete the process of healing. उसमें होता क्या है कि fibrous tissue and cartilage बनना शुरू हो जाते हैं at the site of the impact of injury. ठीक है, जिसका एक कंपोनेंट होता है कि उसमें न्यू ब्लड वेसल्स आती हैं, वो न्यू सेल्स लेकर आती हैं. ठीक है, इसके अलावा इसके अंदर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता फाइब्रस टिश्यू और कार्टिलेज अपीयर होना शुरू होता है. अगला स्टेप होता है बोनी कैलस फॉर्मेशन. पहले फाइब्रस टिश्यू और कार्टिलेजिनस मॉडल ले डाउन होता है. वो मॉडल इन फर्दर gradual process, and as the process proceeds in the healing of the damaged bone, तो वो जो है आहिस्ता आहिस्ता रिप्लेस होना शुरू हो जाता है by the bone, bony callus. ठीक है, जिसको bony callus कहते हैं. So bony tissue is going to start to replace the fibrous tissue and cartilaginous tissue at the site of injury. और फिर complete bone remodeling हो जाती है. Complete जो है वो जो break होता है उसको fill कर दिया जाता है, उस space को fill कर दिया जाता है with the formation of new bone. So ये सारे steps होते हैं in the healing of the fracture or bone injury. Next, we have osteoarthritis. Osteo refers to bone, arthritis, osteo and joint, inflammation of the bone and joint. Itis का जहां लफ्ज आता है वहां पे आम तौर का मतलब होता है referring to inflammation. So कोई भी inflammatory process या disease. ठीक है. So osteoarthritis usually is the type of inflammation that involves the bone and articulating surfaces and the joint. What happens in this condition? In osteoarthritis, especially osteoarthritis is commonly observed in cavitated joints, which are called synovial joints, having a cavity, right? So in these joints, as you can see, the ends of the bone that are participating to form a joint, they are covered with cartilage, articular cartilage, in order to make their articulating surfaces smooth, right? What happens as a result of this inflammation? This cartilage as well as the bony ends forming a particular joint, they are going to be degenerated. They will undergo the process of degeneration. बोन जो होती है ना उसको आम लेमैन की जुबान में कहते हैं बोन खाई गई है. बोन जो है इट इज ईटन अप. सो यहाँ पे जब हम एक्सरे वगैरह करवाते हैं या आर्थ्रोस्कोपी करके जॉइंट को अंदर से देखते हैं तो हमें बोन इस सूरत में नजर आती है, टूट फूट का शिकार होती है, उसमें सुराख हुए हुए होते हैं और इरोडेड होती है जनरली, जिसके साथ जो ये कार्टिलेज होता है ये भी डीजेनरेटेड होता है और एंड इट इज ऑलमोस्ट कंप्लीटली लॉस्ट. This condition is going to is going to affect the movements, mobility of the patient. ठीक है, तो इसको इस condition को treat करना, address करना बहुत जरूरी होता है because it can become a debilitating disease, ultimately making a person immobile or unable to walk. So next, these conditions, rickets, osteomalacia, and osteoporosis. I would advise my students to be able to identify and be able to differentiate between these three conditions from each other. One is a condition that is associated with a particular age group, that is children. It does not occur in adults. So the disease in adults include osteomalacia and osteoporosis. So these two conditions are associated with old age, whereas rickets occur in the children. Why? What is the cause of these three conditions? Rickets, in rickets, we can see the skeletal deformities. But in osteomalacia and osteoporosis, deformities are not common, and in some cases of osteoporosis, vertebrae are more commonly affected, but in osteomalacia, it is said that vertebrae जो हैं वो ज्यादा इफेक्ट होते हैं इससे. माइक्रो फ्रैक्चर्स, यस, माइक्रो फ्रैक्चर्स कहते हैं जो विद द नेकेड आई आपको नजर नहीं आते. सो माइक्रो फ्रैक्चर्स इस केस में यूजुअल होते हैं. और बाकी ऑस्टियोमलेशिया और ऑस्टियोप्रोसिस में फ्रैक्चर्स जो पैथोलॉजिकल फ्रैक्चर्स लिखा हुआ है, पैथोलॉजिकल फ्रैक्चर्स का बेटे मतलब होता है दैट इज कॉज्ड बाय एनी एबनॉर्मल फैक्टर, आइदर एक्सीडेंट और सम डिजीज. जबकि माइक्रो फ्रैक्चर्स के लिए इन दोनों का होना कोई जरूरी नहीं है. माइक्रो फ्रैक्चर्स इवन बच्चा जो है वो ऐसी हल्का सा हाथ भी उठाता है ना, तो वो बच्चे की जो ये बोन्स होती हैं, फोर आर्म की जो बोन्स होती हैं, रेडियस अल्ना, उनमें फ्रैक्चर आ जाता है. सो इसलिए इनको हम डिफरेंशिएट करते हैं फ्रॉम द पैथोलॉजिकल फ्रैक्चर्स. पैथोलॉजिकल फ्रैक्चर्स में आपको या तो कोई ठीक ठाक इंजरी चाहिए होती है टू कॉज अ फ्रैक्चर, या फिर कोई डिजीज चाहिए होती है लीडिंग टू अ फ्रैक्चर. रिकेट्स में बच्चों में ना तो कोई इंजरी की जरूरत पड़ती है, ना किसी अच्छी खासी डिजीज की जरूरत पड़ती है. बस चूंकि उनके अंदर वैसे ही कैल्शियम वगैरह लो होता है, तो वो बेचारे जरा से भी कोई मूवमेंट करते हैं तो उनके बोन्स के अंदर फ्रैक्चर हो जाता है. ठीक है. Now, what is the underlying pathology in these three conditions? In rickets, the children experiencing or suffering from rickets, they have low calcium levels and phosphate levels in their body and blood. But in osteomalacia, serum calcium is also low. Okay? This is why these two conditions are said to be mirror image to each other, in the sense that both of them, they are having low serum calcium levels, but one is affecting the children and the other one is affecting the old age. Whereas the case of osteoporosis is a bit different when it comes to etiology. Etiology का मतलब होता है cause. So इसके अंदर osteoporosis में biochemical changes blood में हमें नजर नहीं आती. मतलब कहने का ये है कि इनमें जरूरी नहीं है कि कैल्शियम और फॉस्फेट लेवल्स ही लो हों. So what is the pathology then? Hormonal changes with age that occur in both males and females. Those changes lead to the weakening of the bone in old age. So another chapter from the general anatomy, from which in professional examinations, many SAQs are asked. That chapter is joints. This chapter is very important from examination point of view for the undergraduate students. What is a joint? When two or more bones or cartilages come in contact with each other, that site of articulation is called a joint. And the study of joint is called arthrology. Classification of joints. Just like we did the classification of bone, and again we mentioned there that classification of bone is a frequently asked SAQ in the final professional examination. Similarly, classification of joints must be done by the undergrad students on priority basis, as it is again a very commonly 99% asked question from the subject of general anatomy is the classification of joints. So joints are classified on the basis of structure into following groups. On the basis of structure into following groups: fibrous joints, cartilaginous joints, synovial joints. So we have three main categories depending on the type of structure of a particular joint. We have fibrous joint, the name is indicating some fibrous tissue is involved to make or unite the articulating bones or cartilages. Then we have cartilaginous joints. These joints are developed by cartilaginous model, right? And synovial joints. The difference between fibrous and synovial joint is that fibrous joints do not have a cavity. This is why they are labeled as non-cavitated joints. whereas synovial joints are called cavitated joints because they have a cavity. So these are the three main categories of joints. First of all, let's start with the fibrous joint. As I mentioned earlier, these are called the non-cavitated joints. So these joints, as they lack a cavity, इनके अंदर cavity नहीं होती, इनकी जो articulating surfaces होती है, उनके बीच में कोई खला नहीं होता, कोई cavity नहीं होती, कोई space नहीं होती. तो इसलिए इनको fixed joint कहते हैं. और चूंकि ये fixed joint है, तो इसका मतलब है कि इनके ऊपर movement ना होने के बराबर होगी. This is why they are called fixed and immobile joints. ठीक है. और इस तरह के joints आमतौर पे commonly associated with the skull. इसलिए इनको हम, चूंकि ये हमें आमतौर पे मिलते ही skull में हैं, इस टाइप के joints, तो इसलिए हम इनको लेबल करते हैं एक और नाम से भी. एक तो हमने नाम दिया fibrous joint का. क्यों? क्योंकि इनके स्ट्रक्चर में जो articulating surfaces हैं, they are being joined by fibrous tissue. सेकेंडली, चूंकि इनमें कैविटी नहीं है और ये फाइब्रस टिश्यू की मदद से एक दूसरे से बड़े अच्छे तरीके से एंकर हुए हुए होते हैं, दे आर जॉइंड वेरी फर्मली विद ईच अदर, तो इसलिए ये फिक्स्ड हैं और इमोबाइल हैं. और चूंकि दे आर एसोसिएटेड एंड कॉमनली फाउंड इन द स्कल, दे आर आल्सो कॉल्ड स्कल टाइप जॉइंट. सो द यूनियन इज ड्यू टू डेंस फाइब्रस टिश्यू. फिक्स्ड है, इमूवेबल है, मेनली लिमिटेड टू स्कल है. These are the joints of the skull bones. ये सब कुछ वही repetition है. Affected by the sutural ligament. Their sites is also active bone growth formation भी show करती है. Ossification is from within outward. इसका क्या मतलब है कि अंदर से development start होती है bone की और बाहर की तरफ outward surface पे जाती है. Development की जो direction है वो within outward है. Process of obliteration is called synostosis. जब ossification complete हो जाती है और जो developing bones के बीच में जो space होती है वो बंद हो जाती है as a result of completion of ossification, completion of development of bone and this joint, तो उस process को हम कहते हैं synostosis. Now let's see some varieties of the sutures. Depending on the shape of the articulating surfaces, we have different types of sutures. We have serrate sutures, denticulate suture, squamous suture, limbus, plain, wedge and groove sutures, also called shin dialysis. So we have serrate sutures. The name is indicating it. The surfaces participating to form this joint, they have saw-like surfaces. Example हमारे पास sagittal suture की है. ये sagittal suture है, midline suture between the two parietal bones. The shapes of the union of the articulating surfaces is like a saw, is saw. Denticulate suture, denticulate referring to tooth-like surfaces. The example is lambdoid suture. Here we have the lambdoid suture. The suture between the two parietal bones and the occipital bone. Then squamous suture, they overlap each other, and the example is temporoparietal. This is temporal bone, squamous part of temporal bone, and this is we have the parietal bone. Their union जो है, that is of squamous type, overriding each other. They are seem to be overriding each other, the two articulating surfaces. Limbus suture, also considered to be modified squamous suture. Plain suture, slightly rough and irregular surfaces, zygomatico-palatine suture. Wedge and groove shin dialysis, a ridged bone fits into the groove present on neighboring bone between vomer and sphenoid. Vomer and sphenoid, vomer you can see from within the nose. It is one of the bones of the nose and septum. Then we have sphenoid bone. इनमें जो आपस में joint बनता है, इन बोन्स के आपस में वो प्लेन सूचर और वेज एंड ग्रूव सूचर टाइप होता है. वेज एंड ग्रूव सूचर में होता क्या है कि एक जो है वो वेज होता है और दूसरा जो होता है सरफेस वो ग्रूव्ड होती है. तो वो दोनों जो आर्टिकुलेटिंग सरफेसेस होती हैं वो टूथ की तरह एक दूसरे के साथ अंदर फिक्स हो जाती है, एंकर हो जाती है. गुम्फोसिस, गुम्फोसिस इज अ पेग एंड सॉकेट जॉइंट. स्पेशलाइज्ड फाइब्रस जॉइंट है ये भी, ठीक है, in which teeth fit into their socket. situated in maxilla and mandible. So Gomphosis is another example of the fibrous joint. ठीक है, और ये particularly हमें कहाँ मिलता है? टूथ में. सही है. होता क्या है कि टीथ जो है, हमारे जो दांत होते हैं, they fit into their sockets situated in the maxilla, that is the upper jaw, and mandible, that is the lower jaw, with the help of a very special ligament जिसका नाम है periodontal ligament. तो ये जो आपको oblique running fibers नजर आ रहे हैं white color के, between the socket of the tooth and the tooth itself, ये ligament है, इसका नाम है periodontal ligament. चूंकि ये joint बन रहा है with the help of a fibrous ligament, इसलिए हमने इसको fibrous joint की category में डाला है. So Gomphosis, ये जो joint है बेटा, this joint is commonly given in MCQs in the final professional examination. Syndesmosis. Syndesmosis is again a fibrous joint in which the union is aided with the help of ligament, which is called interosseous ligament. Interosseous. Osseous refers to bones, inter between. So between the two bones, a ligament between the two bones. So in this type of joint, syndesmosis, the union is with the help of a ligament that is joining the two articulating surfaces with each other. The classic example is given of the inferior tibiofibular joint. So here we have fibula, lower end of fibula, and here we have the lower end of tibia. Both of these bones belong to the leg, region of the leg. So the union between the inferior ends of these two bones is with the help of an interosseous ligament. Cartilaginous joint. Second category in the joints is cartilaginous. First was fibrous, which were the non-cavitated joints, and this one is the cartilaginous joint. In this case, the joints are united with the help of a cartilage. These joints show slight movement, and they are commonly found in those places where stability and strength is required. And many examples are limited to the axial skeleton, that is the midline skeleton. Cartilaginous joints are further categorized as on the basis of their development and the changes later in adult life into two main categories: primary cartilaginous joint and secondary cartilaginous joint. What are the features or characteristics of the primary cartilaginous joint? They are found with the developing appendicular bones, united by hyaline plate, completely immovable. Example is first sternocostal joint. Here we have first sternocostal joint, the joint formed between the sternum and costal cartilage, first one. Right? What happens in this type of joint? Primary cartilaginous में होता क्या है कि प्राइमरी के अंदर जो डेवलपमेंट में इस जॉइंट के डेवलपमेंट में कार्टिलेज इन्वॉल्व होती है. ठीक है, इन दोनों बोन्स को यूनाइट करने में जो स्ट्रक्चर हेल्प करता है वो कार्टिलेज होता है. और कौन सी टाइप का कार्टिलेज होता है? हायलिन. प्लीज रिमेंबर द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ कार्टिलेजेस मेंशन्ड in different topics, because again these types, they are given as MCQs in the professional examination. So what happens during the development of these bones? There is hyaline plate involved in order to unite the articulating surfaces. But later in adult life, this hyaline plate, cartilaginous plate, disappears and is completely replaced by the bone, hence making these cartilaginous joint immovable, because their ossification is complete and the hyaline cartilage is replaced by the bony component. So ये मुकम्मल तौर पे ये joints जो होते हैं ये ऑलमोस्ट फिक्स जॉइंट बन जाते हैं, इन पे मोबिलिटी ना होने के बराबर होती है. क्लासिक एग्जांपल जो दी जाती है वो फर्स्ट स्टर्नोकॉस्टल जॉइंट की दी जाती है. दूसरी बात, नोट द डिफरेंस. वी मेंशन्ड अर्लियर that many of the cartilaginous joints are usually found limited to axial skeleton, midline. Lekin here we have seen an example of a cartilaginous joint that is basically making a part of the appendicular skeleton, right? It is not in the midline strictly. It is away from the midline. So forming part of the appendicular skeleton. Secondary cartilaginous joint, they are also called symphysis. They can be found in the axial skeleton, in the midline skeleton. They are joined by white fibrocartilage. Please note down the difference between secondary cartilaginous joint and primary cartilaginous joint. You cannot see hyaline cartilaginous plate between the articulating surfaces. But here you can see a cartilaginous disc between the articulating surfaces. So what happens in secondary cartilaginous joint? That they develop as cartilaginous joints, and later in adult life, unlike the primary cartilaginous joint, they retain their hyaline or their cartilaginous plate. They retain their cartilaginous plate between their articulating surfaces, right? And this cartilaginous plate is of what type of cartilage? Fibrocartilage. In primary, the union is basically by the most of the time hyaline cartilaginous type, but in secondary cartilaginous, the union is with the help of which type of cartilage? Fibrocartilage. They are called permanent joints, and since they are retaining their cartilaginous plate between their articulating surfaces even after the completion of the ossification, so they can show slight movement at their sites of union. Classic examples are given of the pubic symphysis. This is the site of pubic symphysis. Symphysis refers to secondary cartilaginous joint. These two are the hip bones or the pelvic bones, and anteriorly these two bones unite to form symphysial joint, which is called pubic symphysis. Pubic is the part of the hip bone. Hip bone has three parts: ilium, pubic, and ischium. Intervertebral joints. Intervertebral joints here you can see these are the vertebra, and the joints formed between the bodies of the vertebra are called secondary cartilaginous joint, because in between the bodies of the vertebra you can see disc of fibrocartilage. So these vertebral joints also retain their intervertebral or interarticulating bony interarticulating cartilage. And what is the type of their जो है bony surfaces के बीच में जो cartilage retain करते हैं, what is the type? Fibrocartilage again.